Top 10 Places to Visit in Bali, Indonesia. Number 1, Puritana Lot. About 20 kilometers northwest of Kuta, Puritana Lot is one of Bali's most iconic temples. Its spectacular seaside setting, on a rocky islet surrounded by crashing waves, is a major wow factor. It is one of the most sacred of all the island's sea temples. Every evening, throngs of tourists from Kuta, Legion, and Sanur find their way through a labyrinth of lanes lined by souvenir sellers to watch the sun setting behind the temple. Puritana Lot was built at the beginning of the 16th century and is thought to be inspired by the priest Narartha, who asked local fishermen to build a temple here after spending the night on the rock outcrop. Although foreigners can't enter any of the temples in the complex, you can walk across to the main temple at low tide. It's also fun to wander along the paths, taking photos and soaking up the magnificent setting. From Tana Lot, you can stroll along tropically landscaped pathways to beautiful Batu Bolong, another sea temple perched on a rock outcrop with an eroded causeway connecting it to the shore. After viewing the various temples and shrines, save time to relax at one of the cliff-top restaurants and cafes here and sample the famous Kopi Luwak, civet coffee. In some of the cafes, friendly civets snooze on the tables. Number 2, Mount Batur. Every day in Bali's pre-dawn darkness, hundreds of visitors begin the trek up the 1,700-meter summit of Mount Batur. Once at the top, they watch the sunrise above the lush mosaic of mist-shrouded mountains and the caldera far below. If you're looking for romantic things to do in Bali for couples, this should be top on your list. This sacred active volcano lies in Kintamani district in Bali's central highlands, about an hour's drive from Ubud. The hike, along well-marked trails, is relatively easy and usually takes about 2 to 3 hours. Guided treks typically include a picnic breakfast, with eggs cooked by the steam from the active volcano. On a clear day, the views are spectacular, stretching all the way across the Batur caldera, the surrounding mountain range, and Lake Batur. You can also combine a trip here with a visit to one of Bali's most important temples, Puro Lindanu Batur, on the lake's northwest shore, and a therapeutic soak in hot springs at the beautiful village of Toyabunka on the banks of Lake Batur. Number 3, Uluwatu Temple. Uluwatu Temple, Puro Luhur Uluwatu, is one of the Bali's most famous temples, thanks to its magnificent clifftop setting. It presides over plunging sea cliffs above one of Bali's best surf spots. Ulu means tip or land's end, and Watu means rock, a fitting name for the location of the temple on the Bukit Peninsula, along the island's southwestern tip. Like Puritana Lot, sunset is the best time to visit. Archaeological finds here suggest the temple is of megalithic origin, dating from around the 10th century. The temple is believed to protect Bali from evil sea spirits, while the monkeys who dwell in the forest near its entrance are thought to guard the temple from bad influences. Keep your belongings securely stashed away from their nimble grasp. A scenic pathway snakes from the entrance to the temple, with breathtaking viewpoints along the way. Only Hindu worshippers are allowed to enter the temple, but the beautiful setting and the sunset Kacha dance performances that take place here daily are more than worth the visit. Number 4, Ubud Monkey Forest. Visiting the Monkey Forest, also known as the Sacred Monkey Forest Sanctuary, is one of the top things to do in Ubud, Bali. It's also one of the best places to visit in Bali if you're an animal lover or photographer. Besides the entertaining troops of gray long-tailed macaques that make their home here, a large part of the appeal is the evocative jungle setting where the monkeys roam free. Paved pathways lead through thick forests of giant banyan and nutmeg trees, where moss-covered statues and ancient temples loom through the dense foliage, imparting an almost mystical feel. The forest is intended to represent the harmonious coexistence between humans and animals, It also conserves rare plants and is used as a location for researching macaque behavior, particularly their social interaction. On the southwest side of the forest is one of the 3 temples found here, the 14th century Pura Dala Magung Padang Tegal. Here, hundreds of monkeys swing through the trees and clamber over the walls. In the northwest of the forest, an ancient bathing temple, Purabiji, nestles next to a cool stream and makes a beautiful backdrop for watching the monkeys' antics. Number 5. Ubud Art and Culture. Made famous by the book and movie Eat, Pray, Love, Ubud is also the epicenter of Balinese art and culture. This is where the modern Balinese art movement was born. Today, several excellent local museums and galleries celebrate its evolution and traditions. Art gazing is particularly rewarding here, as many collections are housed in traditional Balinese buildings surrounded by serene tropical gardens. For an overview of Balinese art, your first stops should be Agung Raya Museum of Art, ARMA, and the Neka Art Museum, which lie within a short stroll of the Ubud Monkey Forest. Collections at both include works ranging from traditional to contemporary, including kris, ceremonial daggers, photography, and classical wayang, puppet figure, paintings. Other art galleries and museums in the Ubud area that might be of interest to art lovers include Setia Dharma House of Masks and Puppets featuring ceremonial masks from Asia and beyond. Museum Puri Lukisan, spanning a range of Balinese artistic styles, and the Don Antonio Blanco Museum, at the artist's former home and studio. Number 6. Tigalalong and Jitalawi Rice Terraces in Bali. About a 30-minute drive north of Ubud, Tigalalong Rice Terraces are one of the most famous areas to photograph these iconic landscapes and absorb their timeless beauty. About a 90-minute drive from Ubud, the Jitalawi Rice Terraces cover more than 600 hectares of rice fields along the hillsides of the Batu Karu mountain range and tend to be less crowded than Tigalalong. You'll also find fewer tourist touts here. Both of these locations use the traditional water management cooperative called Subak, a UNESCO-recognized irrigation system that dates to the 9th century. Number 7. Purulan Danubratan. The 17th-century Purulan Danubratan is one of Bali's most picturesque temple complexes. It sits on a small island along the western shore of Lake Bratan. In the cool highlands of central Bali, set against the imposing backdrop of Gunung Bratan, the thatched temples reflect on the lake, and when the water levels rise, they seem to float on its surface. Lake Bratan is one of Bali's main sources of irrigation and drinking water, and the temple complex is dedicated to Dewi Danu, goddess of the sea and lakes. An unusual feature is the Buddhist stupa on the left of the entrance to the first courtyard, with figures of Buddha meditating in the lotus position and niches on the square base. The stupa reflects the adoption of Buddhist beliefs by Balinese Hindus. The best time to visit this sacred Hindu temple complex is early in the day, before the tourist buses arrive. The temple is especially picturesque in the soft morning light, when cool mist sometimes cloaks the lake and the mountains beyond. You can also hire a canoe and paddle out on the lake to explore the Meru, thatched shrines, at close range. Not far from the temple complex, the Bali Botanic Garden, Kebun Raya Bali, is also worth a visit, with its beautiful bamboo forests, begonias, orchid collection, and medicinal plants. Please subscribe to the channel and help us spread the video.